What is up, Prealgebra? This is lesson 100. We're going to be talking about the surface area of right pyramids and cones. And first off, we're going to talk about the surface area of right pyramids. So we're talking about the total surface area, what we just call the surface area of a right pyramid. We represent it with this, like the A sub S. And that's equal to the perimeter of the base times the slant height divided by 2 plus B, which is the area of the base. You can also write it this way, 1/2 of PS plus B. And let me see if I can draw one real quick. So this down here is the base, and all of the lateral sides are triangles. So the perimeter of the base would be the length that it is around here, around the edges, around their base here. The base itself would be like the area of this, in this case, a square, down here. And then that S is a slant height, which is the length, how far it is perpendicular to the base, up the side of that pyramid. So if you were to run up the side of it, it's how far it would be to run up the side of it. If we're talking about the lateral surface area, notice it looks exactly the same except for it doesn't have the area of the bottom down here. So it's just the PS over 2, or 1/2 PS. So let's try a few of these. We need to find the P, which is the perimeter of the base, around this length. We need to find S, and then we also need to find the area of the base. So first off, I guess the P would be 9 yards. That's this one right here. Plus 9 yards. Plus 9 yards. That's going to be 27, 9 times 3. The S is this length here. If I were to walk up the side of that, and that tells me it is 12.3 yards. Right here. And then the area of the base, since the base is a triangle, I know it's going to be 1/2 the base of the base times the height. And remember, those are always perpendicular, so it's going to be 1/2 of 9 times that 7.8. So if you plug all those in the calculator, is what I just did, 1/2 times 9 times 7.8, I get 35.1. This would be yards squared now, because it's 9 yards times 7.8 yards. Okay, so yards times yards is going to be yards squared. So then if I want to find the surface area, that's going to be P times S, which is going to be 27 times 12.3. Divide that by 2, and then add the 35.1. So 27 times 12.3 gives me 332.1 over 2 plus 35.1. So divide that answer by 2, and it gives me 166.05 plus 35.1. Maybe it might be easier if I write down here 35.1. 11. That's going to be a 10. 201.15. It says round to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 decimal places. And since this is talking about area, it's going to be yards squared. Now, as we go into this next one, we can find the perimeter of the base, but we start to look at the S, and we see that we don't have just one, but we have 2 different slant heights here. So because we have 2 different slant heights, we're going to have to solve this a little bit different way. So let's kind of just unfold this for a second. Here's the base of it. So this is 6 by 9. Then we have a triangle off of each side. And this slant height is going to be that 9.2. Same with this one, 9.2. But at this one and this one, the slant height is 8.5. So we're going to do this a little bit differently than what we did before. So let's find the area of the base, which is what we're going to do this one right here. Okay, so that base is going to be just 9 feet times 6 feet, which gives me 54 feet squared. Now let's find the area of these larger triangles here. Okay, the larger triangles, notice we have 2 of them, is going to be, I'm going to say area of a triangle, is going to be 1/2, since it's a triangle, the base, which is 9, times the height, which is 8.5. So I plugged in my calculator, 1/2 times 9 times 8.5, and I get 38.25. And again, since it's feet times feet, it would be feet squared. Next, we're going to do the other triangles. This one and this one. So the area of that triangle is going to be 1/2 the base, which in this case is 6, times the height, which is 9.2. Again, plug that in my calculator, 1/2 times 6 times 9.2. And this gives me 27.6. Again, feet squared. Now notice we have 2 of those yellow triangles and 2 of those greens. So if we were to add this all up, I want that 54. I'm going to need that 38.25. I'm going to need 2 of those because I have 2 of those green ones, right? And then I need the 27.6 and another 27.6 because again I have 2 of those yellow triangles. So as I add those up, this is going to be 0, carry the 1, 17. So 185.70 and feet squared. So whenever we have a rectangular pyramid where we have 2 different slant heights, we're going to have to find the area of each of these pieces individually. I like this formula whenever we have all 3 slant heights are the same. Now we have one more like this, and notice this one now says the lateral area of each figure. It says round your answer to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So the lateral means I do not need to find the area of that base in the bottom, but just of the, in this case, the 5 triangles around the outside edge. So to find that area, I need to say 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. So the perimeter is going to be this length all the way around here. Notice it says that all the sides are the same, as those little tick marks mean, and that it's each one of those is 9. So I'm going to say it's going to be 9 times 5, which is 45 inches around the base. And the slant height is this length here. So the S is going to equal to 9.3 inches. So to find that lateral area, I'm going to say 1/2 times 45 inches times 9.3 inches. And that's going to give us, I have to plug it in my calculator, 209.25. Remember, inches times inches gives me inches squared. Now the next thing we talked about, remember we're talking about pyramids and cones. We're going to be doing this with a cone now. So the surface area of a right cone is going to be pi times r times s. R is the radius of the base. S, again, is that slant height. So this is the area around the outside edge of the cone. and then the area of the base is pi r squared, or the area of the circle down there. If I want just the lateral surface area, then I leave off the area of that circle, the pi r squared, and just use the pi rs. So for this, let's go ahead and find our r. We want to say, or I want to say initially, that it's 24 inches because that's what the number it gives me, but the number it gives me is all the way across. I just want half of that since I'm going the radius, not the diameter. So half of 24 is going to give me 12 inches. And then the S is equal to that 26.8 inches, right? This length along here. That's the slant height. So if I want to find the total surface area, which it just says surface area there, it doesn't say lateral. Since it says total, then I'm going to go ahead and just find all of it. So I'm going to say the surface area is going to equal to pi. Since we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, I'm going to say 3.14 for pi, times r, which is 12 inches, times s, which is 26.8 inches, plus pi, 3.14, times r squared, which is 12 inches squared. So I'm just going to multiply these first ones together. 3.14 times 12 times 26.8, and I get 1009.824. The other one, 3.14 times 12 squared. It's going to say plus 452.16. Now, if they had asked for lateral instead of total, I would have just stopped with this number right here. I would not add this to it. Okay, but since I was asked for both, I'm going to add those two numbers together, and I get, if I have the pen here, I'll get 1,461.984. But since it's rounding to the nearest hundredth, I'm just going to leave it at 98. Again, inches times inches would give us inches squared, inches squared, right? Inches squared. So it's going to be inches squared. All right, your homework is a worksheet, so go ahead and do that. And remember to do your absolute best. Good luck, guys.